This is Corey Willis with PPEI, and you're listening to the Diesel Podcast.
I'm Adam Blattenberg from Diesel World.
This is Dan, owner of D&J Diesel Performance.
I'm Cass from Diesel Doctor of Tennessee, and you're listening to the Diesel Podcast.
What is going on, Diesel Nation? We're excited to have you guys with us today on the #1 diesel truck podcast on iTunes. And this week, you guys have kept us right in the top 2, top 3. And we want to thank you for those downloads and the reviews, and especially for reaching out to us on social media. I want to encourage you guys, if you're not following us already, you can just search the Diesel Podcast on Facebook or Instagram. And if you have questions or you have a show suggestion or a guest touched on something and you want to know more, just shoot us a message or a comment, anything like that. We're more than happy to be able to help you get those answers. Or if you got a show suggestion, be able to do a podcast about it. So we want to thank you guys and encourage you to keep doing that. Now, on today's episode, we're going to be kicking off race season, and it's right around the corner. So we have Greg Gawley from ODSS on, and he's going to tell us about the schedule, where the races are being held. We're going to speculate a little bit on how fast the trucks are going to go, and it's a really exciting time because each year the trucks get faster and faster and faster, and so I'm sure we're going to see a ton of records broken this year, and he's going to give us an overview of it and then let you guys know where the events are, if you want to go to them, how you can get tickets and things like that, or if you're not able to make it, how you can watch live feeds and still be able to see what's going on at the track. Before we get to it, there's a couple things we wanted to ask for your help on. The first is one of our partners is TruckPorn, and it's a huge Instagram page that has truck videos and pictures and things like that. And the gentleman that runs the page, he's got almost 800,000 followers on there, and he asked us, he's like, I know a ton of people listen to the podcast. Can you ask your listeners if they have any really cool diesel truck videos to tag me or send them to me in a direct message? So we want to encourage you guys, if you got something racing, sled pulling, a dyno, off-roading, something like that, just tag at TruckPorn or go to his Instagram page and you can send him a direct message. Make sure you follow, you send a direct message. He'd love to have those. There's a couple sponsors that we want to give a special shout out to and let you guys know, some things that they're doing that can save you some money. The first is Alligator Performance. If you go to alligatorperformance.com and you're looking for truck upgrades, anything like that, if you use podcast 5 as a discount code, you get 5% off and you get a free t-shirt. If you call in, just mention that you heard about the promotion on the Diesel Podcast and they'll get you taken care of. And also, Show Engineering. We've had Cass on a number of times and it's always fantastic to chat with him. He's got an incredible amount of knowledge and expertise when it comes to building engines, and they've got a ton of different things going on for tax time, refund, sales, things like that. So make sure and check them out if you're looking for a specific build. So it's a high performance race application, then get you taken care of. Or what a lot of guys need is a stout, solid, reliable rebuilt engine for a work truck, something you use every day. Just go to diesel911.com. Check them out there. Got any questions, let them know. They're more than happy to help you. All right, let's get to the podcast talking about race season with Greg. Greg, it's great to have you on the Diesel Podcast today. How you doing?
Good, man. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm excited to be able to chat with you one-on-one. You were on a previous episode, the SEMA episode, where Adam from Diesel World. Yeah, you guys talked a lot about different racing, I think, trends and things for this year, and we wanted to be able to chat with you about ODSS and have you give us an overview of the series and just kind of explain it all, for someone who's new and may not be into racing. They're just starting to get into it. And, you guys you have a ton of races and a ton of really powerful trucks that are, kind of doing the circuit, and wanted to learn more about it.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, like you said, we got a little bit of everything for everyone. We're going into our 6th season now, and going strong. Lots of new stuff happening as far as like racing, everything from your street trucks to, diesel powered dragsters. So, I mean, lots of horsepower ranges there. Everybody bring their stuff out on a Friday night and run their test and tune and kind of get your group of friends together and take them to the track and run them in a safe manner, safe, controlled area where you can still, show off to your buddies, and just kind of hang out. It's a, lot of people together, and, it's all a real close family, events, several events throughout the year. We've got, 8 on the schedule. So we've added 3 more from last year, in the addition to the Quick 8 shootout that we're going to be involved in with UCC. James and Chris were nice enough to involve us in that, and that's going to be really cool. Some of the fastest diesel-powered cars, trucks that are out there today, definitely going to be out, chasing down a big purse for that race. So that's going to be something really cool to check out this year. If you're going to UCC, if you can't make it, I think they're going to have the live stream again this year, so definitely check that stuff out. But yeah, ET class, we have your faster street trucks in 770. Our 670 index, still kind of index racing, shooting for that number, but, a little faster, a little more involved there. Then we go into the 590 class, or that we created last year, kind of to bridge that gap between the, entry-level pro class and not having to quite have that $250,000 budget to compete in the pro street. Yeah. We had, a good chunk of guys come out for a first year, 8 to 10 trucks for a first-year class was pretty cool to have, just to see the growth there. And I know we've got guys that are out there building stuff to try to compete this year as well. So it's going to be interesting to see, as we progress through the season, what involves there and how the pro street class plays out with that as well. Guys moving up, just going through the progressions, they start out in the ET class on a Friday night and then they get the itch, and it kind of gets snowballing pretty quick for some of these guys. So
it's what I think this time of year is when we start to see the social media posts with the 670 build, the 770, all that sort of stuff. I was chatting with a guy earlier today, and he races, and I'm like, how did it start? And he's like, well, it started with a programmer on my 07, and then now it's a crazy build. And I think that's what's so cool about ODSS is there's so many different classes that you can compete in, so you don't have to just jump right into the something that might be more than you can handle, or may not have the budget for, or may not want to commit the budget for, but you still go have fun and kind of work your way into different classes.
Right. And that's one of the things with that 590 class, a lot of guys jumped into that, thought it was going to be easy, and proved out to be a lot harder than most thought. And, it's been a good competition in those classes as well. So it's just been a fun ride. I've been involved in 4 years now, and it's just constantly growing, and things are constantly changing. It's been really cool just to see the diesel motorsports happen the way it is. So it's been awesome.
That's what I wanted to chat with you a little bit about as well, and you guys chat about it on our SEMA episode, but what are some things that you're keeping your eye out for this year across really any of the classes, or things you're curious to see, who reaches this time, or who's coming, maybe there's a racer out there or team out there that is going to be kind of like the underdog that's going to be coming up quick on some of these other guys.
Pro Mod, I think, is going to be where it's at this year. Just seeing some of the stuff that's being built, and everybody's chasing records. Ryan just reset that record down at Ducks race. Everybody's going to be gunning for that now, and everybody was swinging for the fences last year. I mean, if you remember Hardway's inaugural race last year, we reset the record 3 times in one night. So that's if you're not at events, I mean, that's something that you're just like in awe. You don't see that stuff happen. And with guys, we've got Kurt Johnson and his crew coming out to all the events this year, making sure each track is prepped 100% the right way, and I think that's helped with competition and everything involved. So, I mean, it's going to be an awesome year, but Pro Mod, I mean, they've just been going faster and faster and faster. And I mean, 4s for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see 430s, 420s this year. Pretty easy. That's what I'm thinking. You know, as long as all the stars align and everything, you know, comes together, I think that's really achievable this year.
What's so amazing is we think back like 3, 4, 5 years, which really isn't that long of an amount of time, but there's been a huge jump in the kind of power, and I mean, it's changed a lot of the safety rules, and
Right.
It's like it's outpaced all those things. Just, I don't know, it's like this renaissance of going fast and technology, and I think the expertise and the talent that a lot of these guys have.
Yeah, that's kind of something, you know, like we talked about there at SEMA, is just everything going faster. It's required, you know, lots of changes, and everything's progressing in the right way. So that makes it real cool to watch, as not only as a spectator, but just in general, as in motorsports, and, you know, pushing the limits and doing all kinds of fun stuff like that.
Yeah, I think this year's probably one of the most exciting. I think. Well, I say that every year, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's just like, it's like, who's gonna? I mean, Ryan's run, you know, the other day was really cool. I remember seeing that. It was all over.
Oh, yeah.
People were posting it and everything. But there's going to be more, you know, things like that this year. And it's like, who's it going to be? How fast is it going to go? Are we going to sit back at the SEMA next year and be like, wow, we didn't think it'd come this far. What's on tap for 2020?
Exactly. I mean, that's the cool part about it, is, you know, like you said, everything's just progressed so fast, you know, which has forced the aftermarkets to create things, and forced guys to go back and look at chassis setups and how do we get, you know, faster, you know, lighter, everything. So it's affected everything from start to finish, and I think it's real cool just to see everybody's minds come together and how they can put stuff, you know, down track, not only on, you know, on the drag strip, but just in aftermarket stuff for daily driver trucks. Everything's coming a long way. But yeah, it'll be very, very interesting to see, and I'm right there with you. I think it every year, you know, this year's going to be awesome, and then something tops it, and you're just like, wow, well, did that just happen? So, you know, it's definitely fun. And it'll be interesting just to see the guys, you know, as they move up themselves. You know, we've got a couple of guys that are going through the ranks, you know, and just kind of following them throughout the year and seeing how they progress, you know, as drivers and teams, and just to see how they deal with going faster, you know. Yeah, just the feel from a 5 or 670 truck going to a 590 class, just the change from there is pretty drastic, that a lot of people don't realize, you know, in the truck feel. So that'll be kind of cool to watch some of these guys as well.
One of my favorite parts is the trash talking. And that video, was it maybe a month ago or a couple of weeks ago with, I think it was a reply to Ryan Milliken's video, and all the guys that were in there.
It does. It gets everybody fired up, and, you know, just gets, the trash talking is part of it. It, you know, gets everybody amped up and gets everybody refocused, you know, gets the dust knocked off the truck in the winter months when you're not really thinking about it. You know, some guys are like, well, we'll wait till it's about 3 weeks before race time before we get started. You know, but no, it's definitely cool to see everybody. It's just adds part of it, you know, brings more excitement to the race. And, you know, you watch that stuff at home, and then you go out to the event and see if they can back it up, and that's cool.
I think something from kind of the outside looking in that has really fascinated me is the change that's had to take place from, say, like, you know, getting the truck ready a month before the first race, where now there's guys that are working through the winter on it, and they've got it dialed in. And so you almost have to build this year-round schedule around this to be competitive. I mean, you could just go out there, but to really be competitive and to hit the ground running, it takes some planning and strategy and having a good team around you. Yeah.
Unless you're Rick Fox and just try to, you know, tear things down and build it up between races like a crazy man. But hey, you got to hand it to him, man. I mean, he tore the whole truck apart in between TS and the next race and just had everything just like a whole brand new truck, and then doing it again. So, I mean, those guys, hats off to everybody, really. I mean, it takes a lot of dedication to get these trucks down the road, and I mean, it's not an easy task by any means, and all these teams work really hard, long hours to do the things they do, and we certainly appreciate them coming out to put on a show for all of our fans, So
one of the really, I think, key parts in it too is, it's a passion that these guys have and a dedication, but it also does a tremendous amount for the diesel community, whether somebody races or not. They still watch it, they still pay attention, they still have a favorite racer, a favorite team, and then from there it trickles down to the products and what kind of products can you get onto your truck, that the lessons were learned on the track, and it's so cool to see how it all works together.
Yeah, I mean, that's something, at the races, the pits are open, so feel free to come through and check out your favorite driver. Maybe you've seen Levon at UCC and their dominance there, so you want to see the trucks in person. All these pits are open, so you can walk up and look and see just the technology in all these trucks and how they've come a long way. And, you can meet your favorite driver or see some of these trucks and see the products. And exactly like you said, it's just proven on the track on the weekend and makes you think about it for your daily driver on Monday. You see the transmissions or, the tuning software that these guys run. And, I mean, it's just endless. And we've, of course, got all the sponsors and vendors at every race. I mean, we'll have probably close to 50-plus vendors at each of these races. So you can definitely pick up just about anything you want for your truck at these races. And, like our announcer Big Don says, support the people that support the sport. They're there to back us up, and for sure, we try to return the favor and, get everybody out there and get through and see their products as well.
It's a really good point to talk about, is the way that companies support what you're doing. You're supporting what they're building, supporting the racers, and how crucial that is to the aftermarket in the performance world, is being able to give back to it. And it's like we all need each other to survive and to make an impact and to do those things. And I know just from seeing what you guys have done is to see the participation from companies, and then the racers and the personalities that are there and how open they are to talk to people or to do a podcast or, share knowledge and information. It's really what makes, I think, diesel performance and diesel racing so special. Is you can talk to Levon Miller, you can talk to Ryan Milliken, you can walk down a row and you've got some of the best companies in diesel right there, and it's just a great atmosphere to be in.
For sure. I mean, when you're talking like that, when you go to these races and you see just the trailers lined up and just the amount of knowledge, from all of the guys in the industry, all in one place. I mean, that's amazing to me. Not only what they do for the trucks to get them down the track and, turn the times that they do, but just the knowledge that we have at these races in general on diesel motorsports is unreal. And it really is. Anybody that's got any questions or anything, you never be afraid to walk up to these guys and ask questions, and it's an awesome thing to have.
Now, with the season this year, when does it start?
So our first event will be end of April, April 26th, 27th, will be Rudy's season opener at Piedmont Dragway. From there, we will go to the UCC race, which is the week after, May 3rd through the 5th in Indianapolis. Then kind of our first of two new events. So we've got the Outlaw Diesel Revenge by Firepunk at Kilcare Raceway in Ohio, end of May, 1st of June. Then we have our Holly Rock Customs Summer Diesel Showdown, Virginia Motorsports Park. So that one's going to be a huge venue to be at. It's going to be probably our biggest venue that we've been in for ODSS. so far, and it looks to be, the guys at Virginia Motorsports Park, Rick Linder, have been super to work with, and they're trying to put on a top-notch show there. Definitely one not to be missed. Same with the Fire Punk event and Hardway's race in Florida. As you can tell from last year, it was just record-breaking and exciting event to be at. That race will be same as last year, September 13th to 14th. We've got the Rocky Top Shootout 6 again, July 26th, 27th in Crossville, Tennessee. Shy Diesel Extravaganza, August 23rd and 24th. And then we'll wrap things up with Rudy's Fall Truck Jam, October 4th and 5th.
Nice.
So definitely a full jam-packed schedule this year. It
is, yeah, and it covers so many regions and areas that, if even if someone's not in that state, you can drive to it, and it's not too far, and they can see a bunch of different races throughout the season.
For sure, yeah, we've got people that travel, all over the country, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas, all on the West Coast, traveling to the East Coast to race. And it's crazy, just the amount of people that, you talk to at the events and see how far they've traveled. It's kind of fun just to see, and talk to people and see where they're coming from. And it's awesome to have that kind of support, that somebody's willing to drive that far to check out what you've got going on.
Now, for those enthusiasts out there where maybe they can only make one or a couple, but they want to be able to see what's going on, where can they see live feeds? Where do they go to be able to see, kind of what happened at the race or what's taking place, in real time?
We do have some live feed happening. Rudy's, I think both of their events are going to do a live stream. Fire Punk is going to do a live stream for their event. So we're going to try out some of that this year, it sounds like, and at those races at least. If not, we try to do some live stream at the events, with cell phones and stuff like that. Some places you just don't get the best reception. So we try to keep that, so you can check out the ODSS Facebook page for those during the events, and we'll typically try to get at least the final rounds, on a live stream so you can see how that shakes down. But we always try to keep the results posted on social media and to our website within a couple days after the event, so you can see who won and that kind of thing.
That's awesome. I know I love to, like this time of year, I'm like, I want to go to this one, and sometimes I can't make it to them or something, but I still want to see, I want to see what's going on. Sure. And that's really cool to be able to stream them. So no matter where we're at, what we're doing, we can stay on top of what's going on at the racetrack.
For sure.
Now, on Instagram, you guys are Diesel. It's at Diesel Drags, right?
At Diesel Drags on Instagram, yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I love following you guys, and want to encourage all of our listeners, too, to follow you guys on Instagram or Facebook. And I know we say it every year, like we talked about earlier, but there's going to be some really cool things that are happening this year in diesel racing, and I'm excited. I can't wait for April to be here.
Every year, it's just like you said, man. Every year you get excited about it, and I think I'm more excited this year just because I've seen some of the stuff that's in the works. I'm like, man, I cannot wait for that to hit the track, and it's just going to turn some heads, It's awesome. It's a good thing to have. It's pushing boundaries, pushing limits, and pushing everybody to be better, and that is where it's at, and it's going to be a blast.
That's what we look forward to as well. It's like, it's something out of left field happens, and we're like, we got to talk about this. And then a month later, it's the same thing. Yeah. It's like, man, that was a cool ride.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely like I said last the Hardway event last year. It was insane to watch. Larson and Ben just battling it out. The change of, the title and going back and forth, and just, it was awesome. It truly was, especially for the track to be on point. And, we had 130 degree track temperatures throughout the day. And for the crew at TVC to keep that thing as good as it was awesome. So I'm just excited beyond means to see how long it takes before we're setting records again.
we definitely want to sit down with you, throughout the year and chat with you. I know we're gonna have a lot to talk about once the racing starts. But it was really cool to have you come on today and give our listeners a kind of overview of the races, where they're at, when they're happening, and what they can, expect, before the trucks hit the track, and where we can find the information. So we appreciate your time today, and we definitely appreciate being part of ODSS as the official podcast of it, and look forward to chatting with the racers and about the events and everything that's going to be happening this year.
I appreciate you having me.
Don't forget, diesel fans, if you want to get your truck noticed on social media, go to @TruckPorn on Instagram, tag them, or send a DM with any cool diesel truck videos you have, whether you're off-roading, racing, dyno, anything like that. He wants to see them. And then also save 5% at alligatorperformance.com. Just use podcast5 as a discount code. You get 5% off and a t-shirt. There are some exclusions that apply, but if you have any questions, just let the guys know there, or if you call in, just say, hey, I heard about this on the Diesel podcast, and they can get you taken care of on any parts that you need. And for those of you out there looking for engines, make sure and go to diesel911.com and hit up the guys over at Chode Engineering. They've got Cummins, Duramax, and Powerstroke engines, whether you need it for work or a race truck, anything in between. Till next time, keep the shiny side up.